Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Duane Toews visits with Jimmy Emmons about soil health and cover crops. Next, enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. And then we're back with more about the soil health movement with Duane and Michael Thompson. Then learn about the rewards of farming with family. And finally, Kyle Bauer will join Duane in our Plain Talk segment, and they will discuss brown eyes.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Let's join Duane Toews and Jimmy Emmons as they discuss tips to start using cover crops.
Duane Toews joining once again with Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to talk about cover crops and soil health with Jimmy Emmons, Leedy, Oklahoma. And Jimmy, certainly you had a chance to talk to some producers in Kansas and share your story about cover crops and what they've done for your operation. Some interesting times that we live in and some tremendous opportunities.
Oh yeah, the opportunity for cover crops is just really beginning. We're seeing lots of opportunities to graze, to integrate cattle back into the system. We've got away from that over the years, and we've gotten typically grain. And in these low prices of grain, you can see what's happened economically. So there's lots of opportunity for cover crops to integrate cattle back in that system.
We think about making that decision to do so. A lot of growers that were here in attendance today may be hesitant. Really, the take-home message was start small, learn what works for you. There's no cookie-cutter approach when it comes to soil health and cover crops.
Oh yeah, no matter in life, if you want to be successful, you got to start small. Everybody wants to start with a four-wheel drive tractor and a 50-foot plow and go to farming. If you do that, you're not going to be successful. In cover crops, it's about designing the system for your place, for your farm, for your needs. So I always recommend start off small, leave some check strips, do some double, make sure that your seeding rate is where it needs to be on your place. And if you'll do that, then you'll be successful. And don't give up the first year, 2 or 3, because it's going to take 3 years to get the system going.
I was really impressed. One of the things that you shared was the amount of water holding capacity relative to organic content. That's a big key as far as what we're trying to accomplish here.
You bet. We looked at the plots out here today. We had a pretty good shower this morning, but that wet in front was just about that shallow and hit a hard pan and quit going in. It's all about infiltration. 1% organic matter to hold 27,500 gallons. If you can increase that 0.5% to 1%, my gosh, you double the amount of water you have to work with. Besides the nutrients, there's $700 worth of nutrients in the organic side for every 1%. So just think, if you double or triple that organic matter in a few years, what you can do with water and nutrients.
One of the big keys for some guys to be getting past the fact that we're using water and eventually saving more water than what we would lose to evaporation.
Yeah, the big question about cover crops is always cost and how much water we're using. And we've proven it at our farm by pulling cores where we're at on water. If we're going to graze that for an extended period of 60 days or so, yeah, we're going to use an extra couple of inches of water. But we're gaining that back in the next 3 months and then getting ahead and winding up in the spring with 3 to 5 more inches, and that's making the end difference on that crop. So that water infiltration is like I said in the meeting this morning, it's easy to see that rain coming down. It's hard to see that evaporation going up, but it's even harder to see that water going in. We want to try to divert it in a terrace around instead of getting it into the soil.
Our thanks to Jimmy Emmons, Leedy, Oklahoma, joining us with a discussion about cover crops and what it may mean for your operation. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Folks, come back after these messages from our sponsors for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Visit our picturesque town on the Santa Fe Trail for the Council Grove Fall Festival featuring the Voices of the Wind People pageant on the banks of the Neosho River, September 16 and 17. Support Kansas agriculture education with an AgriTag. AgriTags are available anytime at your county treasurer. They look great on cars and trucks. For more information, go online to ksagclassroom.org.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com. This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Ann Lamar, family and consumer science teacher at Olathe East High School, joins us. And you participated in the Kansas Soybeans Food Educational Program for Kansas Middle and High School Family and Consumer Sciences Department. And it was a lot of great experiences that you were able to have.
We share the information with the students about the benefits of soy and the ingredients in most of our products that we can purchase for the class, which is very nice because there is some grant money allotted to that. And soy is in a lot of ingredients, whether it's a processed food or just put in there to help keep it so it's a plant-based type food. And I encourage students with the soy food preparation and eating. It does have its benefits.
And other Kansas Middle and High School Family and Consumer Science departments have an opportunity to participate in this program with some upcoming deadlines for this fall and, of course, for next semester, too.
If one wants to go to the website and research that, they could find where there's information about the whole program that I participate in. They have forms that you can fill out. I think the max amount is up to $200. Depending on the number of students that one would have. Just throughout the semester, when I go grocery shopping, I look at the products, I analyze them, and I find where they have soy, and then I will circle it. And then at the very end of the semester, I turn in that receipt with the item amount of what was used that was a soy and how much I spent. And I know that soy is in a lot of things, and so not just from the cooking aspect, but even some of the other teachers that might have a need for it.
For you as a family and consumer science teacher, how important is it to have a program like the Kansas Soybean Commission is offering to use in your curriculum?
It's very beneficial, not only from educationally to help students learn about the background of some of the foods that are being consumed in their bodies and getting them to read the label so they can identify something that might have the soy in it and other ingredients. The benefits of soy, of a plant-based type product. Health reasons, I do teach a nutrition and wellness class, so we talk a lot about health issues and eating correctly. The soy-based, to teach the benefits of that to my students, and not only can they take that and glean on it for themselves, but also share with other people, take it home to families, and hopefully they're growing from this.
You can submit your application form for the Fall 2016 FACTS program by September 23rd and for Spring 2017 by February 24th by going to kansassoybeans.org/consumers. Ann Lamar, family and consumer science teacher at Olathe East High School, joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Stay with us after the break for Duane's visit with Michael Thompson about the benefits of cover crops.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
We're back on Farm Factor as Duane Toews continues his conversation with Michael Thompson.
Duane Toews joining you once again with Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to talk about soil health and cover crops with Michael Thompson. Joins us Norton County area, across the border into Nebraska as well. And Michael, you had a chance to talk about your operation and what's worked for you. Here was a chance utilizing no-till and cover crops that you were able to come back to the farm when Dad really didn't think maybe you should.
Yes, basically when I left high school, I was told to go out and get a job in town, and basically there wasn't a spot for me on the farm. And I guess that's how I got interested in the soil health movement and soil health in the first place, because it kind of gave me a start. We started with the cover crops and basically replacing in a wheat fallow rotation, replacing the fallow with some grazing forages and some high value forages for our animals. Since then, we've been able to add more livestock to our operation. We've also been able to manage our soil in a better way to help increase the infiltration and get some of the legumes building up nitrogen and some benefits for our soil. You know, we get the soil health benefits as well as being able to recover it in pounds of beef. So
we think about the environment today from the agricultural economy standpoint. Being able to diversify a little bit, that provides you a second opportunity at capturing some income when others maybe aren't in a similar situation.
Yes, the whole thing with the grazing is it's just another facet of our operation. It adds some income. Also, with the cover crops, we're recovering some of the nutrients that are in our soils, that are naturally in our soils. We're able to recycle some of those nutrients after our cash crops, as well as some of the nutrients that are tied up in our soils. We're able to make them plant available. Therefore, we can we can get more for our fertility dollar from our added fertility. We're also able to keep more residue on our crops, which has led to a few less travels across with the spraying and a little bit more income in our pocket that way.
We talk about a lot of folks are concerned about some chemical resistance, herbicide resistance in weed populations out here. Cover crop provides an opportunity to really get shading of the soil and lessen the need for some of those applications.
Yes, that's one of the main reasons that we got into the cover cropping. We were no-tillers before. We saw a lot of herbicide-resistant issues. The grazing side of things were probably how we got into dealing with some of those resistance issues. The cattle went and grazed some of those resistant weeds, as well as the extra residue we raised kind of did shade the ground and was competition for the weeds, so the weeds didn't get established in the first place.
And you referenced, given the economy and current crop prices, sometimes it pays more to walk dollars off the farm than to try and haul it off in a grain cart.
That is exactly true. Basically, that's how we found in especially dry times or severe weather events that the cattle on our operation have been something that diversifies our crop, that we're not simply trying to make it in crop yields. We can also get pounds of beef, and we can grow forage in these extreme weather events.
Well, our thanks to Michael Thompson, Alameda, Kansas, joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Stay tuned for a look at multi-generational farm.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com. Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor. We'll learn why this family farm believes it's not about dividing the pie, it's about making it bigger.
Many farmers look at Schiefelbein Farms near Kimball, Minnesota, as the example of how to make a family farm work. Their business includes the first generation, along with 8 brothers, 7 sisters-in-law, and more than 30 grandchildren.
The key is, how does a family like ours get along, or how do you work together? Love goes a long ways, but the reality is money and power and how you divide that up is what really is truly defines whether or not you'll be successful over the long haul.
He says it starts with realizing it's not about dividing the pie, but making it bigger.
Too often times what happens is family members come back as a replacement for dad and mom, and the reality is dad and mom are still there, so what happens is everybody has to live poor. And when people live poor and the money goes less, usually good things don't happen. So the whole idea behind our deal is you come back with a value-added proposition and you say, how am I going to pull my weight to ensure that when I come back, not only do we not get poorer, we actually do get better off.
One example is the customer buyback program, implemented when one brother returned to the farm after heading up the cattle buying program for a major packer.
And it works beautiful in that it now is a new profit center for our operation, but it also builds on our base of our seed stock operation, ensuring that our customers' calves get paid value for their animals.
Continually raising the bar, producing the best. That's been a way to keep adding to the farm business while increasing income at the same time.
In our mind, it all has to be value added. So it can't be just creating more of anything. What we really want to do is how can we get the premium or how can we get the value added products. From our standpoint, that means doing things like creating seed stock with added value. And when we sell beef with added value, primarily trying to target the certified Angus beef brand.
As the family grows, so does the farm. But the business plan remains centered on excellence. I'm Bob Cervera.
Come back after the break for this week's Plain Talk with Duane and Kyle Bauer.
There's a lot of different ways of doing this woodwork, but all of it still takes both hands.
He had been told that by the orthopedic specialist in Enid, Oklahoma, that they would have to fuse his thumb.
And I said, no, cut it off, because I didn't want it sticking up. And I found out about the Kansas regenerative stem cell and went to Manhattan.
We were so impressed with how royally we were treated the first time we came to Kansas Regenerative.
We came in and he took out the stem cells. It took about an hour for him to process them before they put him back in my knees and my thumb. And we were out of here in about 4 hours and on our way back home. And I'm in here today to have my shoulders, my hips, and my back done. So I'll be able to go back to my sawmill, my shop, and do about anything I want to do.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Thanks for staying with us. Now here's Kyle and Duane with Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with the smirking Duane Toews. You crack yourself up.
I do often. I'm totally enamored with where this may go. Your fact or fiction question of the day, Kyle Bauer.
I can't wait.
Brown eyes are actually blue underneath. Fact or fiction?
You have blue eyes. I have brown eyes.
Yeah.
And so you're saying brown is blue. What do you mean underneath?
If you took a scalpel and you scraped the brown stuff off, it'd be blue under there.
Yeah, that's fiction.
It's true.
Oh, come on.
Brown eyes, blue underneath, can actually get a surgery to turn brown eyes blue.
But not the other way around.
Well, yeah, you'd have to add pigment then to make them brown.
Yeah, I have seen people with multicolor in their, what is that, the iris? With a part that shows the color? I've seen people with kind of a stripe in it. Not on purpose.
Not with contacts. It wasn't Halloween and they were wearing cat eyes or anything. Have you seen those?
Come to think of it, it might have been.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. I assumed the person had an injury, but now that you mention it, maybe they were born that way.
Well, or it could be a fashion statement. I mean, there are.
What would you put on your driver's license on eye color?
On what eye color?
One brown, one blue brown, blue brown, blue brown.
Striped. Take your pick.
Take your pick.
So,
the states with the biggest economies. You'll get this right.
States?
The state. Number
Biggest
one
economy.
state. Biggest state.
California.
Yeah, 13% of our entire nation's economy comes out.
Oh,
yeah.
1 out of 50.
And what
has
did we
13%.
What did we look at a few weeks ago? That's the same as France, I think.
I believe California's GDP.
California's GDP is as big as the whole country of France. And just this last week, France overtook Great Britain as number 5 in the world.
Oh, really?
Great Britain was number 5.
This whole Brexit thing.
They've had a little trouble with their currency recently, yeah.
Although Britain, they've always maintained the British pound.
Yeah.
Did they not? They did not go to the euro when they joined the EU.
They have the sterling pound.
Yeah.
Right. So but it's devalued on world markets. So anyway, number 2, you'll get that one right too.
Number two, and this is productivity?
This is total dollars in GDP.
GDP. I'm going to go with Texas.
Yep. And then after that, it gets a little muddled. New York is number 3.
That's where I was going.
Really? You would have gotten, I should have given you a chance.
Just because of the New York Stock Exchange and the amount of money that flows through there.
Exactly. I'll bet you greater New York City is 2/3 of the state of New York.
Yeah. I mean, apologies to you upstate New York friends of ours, but you really don't count for much.
They know.
Yeah.
They know.
And they just
they're
assume
pretty
not,
proud with it.
They just assume be not.
They just assume
part
secede to Pennsylvania or Indiana anyway. And
else.
I know Indiana is not contiguous. All right, do not call me.
Wondered where you were going with that.
Yeah, okay. Then we got Florida as number 4.
Really?
Illinois. Yeah, Florida's number 4.
Now that one snuck in there because I really am not terribly aware of their industry.
Tourist industry.
Yeah.
Drugs.
I don't think that counts. If you can't tax it, you can't count it.
I don't know. There was a time that the Federal Reserve was shipping $6 billion in cash a year out of Florida. If it goes in the Federal Reserve Bank,
it's counted.
It's counted.
Yeah.
So now that, by the way, that was back about 25 years ago.
Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor. We're here every Tuesday on Ag AM in Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.